Taiwan's sensitive information is under attack, and lawmakers are calling for increased oversight. Taiwan's economy shrinks by the most in 13 years. We find out why. A Taiwan nuclear plant is set to shut down soon, prompting fears of looming power shortages. Vice President Lai Ching-te takes over as chair of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. Taiwan's economy contracted in the last 3 months of 2022 as slower global demand hit Taiwan's exports. It's the most the country's economy has shrunk since the global financial crisis. For the full year, Taiwan's GDP grew just under 2.5%, the slowest pace in 6 years. James Chater has this report.
Taiwan's economy is slowing. Unlike other countries which slid into pandemic-induced recessions, Taiwan experienced an export boom which accelerated economic growth. But now, that's coming to an end. Preliminary data shows Taiwan's GDP contracted 0.86% in the final quarter of last year. That's the largest percentage decline since the global financial crisis in 2009. Over the past year, higher inflation, higher interest rates and COVID lockdowns in China have all depressed demand for Taiwan's exports, which accounts for around 70% of Taiwan's GDP. In September last year, Taiwan's year-over-year exports fell for the first time in 26 months, and since then, the downward slide has continued.
Taiwan's economy is likely going to slow in 2023, and it's going to be a big reversal from the pandemic-driven highs, particularly in terms of exports that we saw in the period from 2020 to 2022. I think from the government perspective, a lot of this is going to really illustrate a lot of the issues that we've been seeing in terms of the relatively unbalanced nature of Taiwan's economy, particularly when it comes to things like household consumption.
Taiwan has stagnant wages and high levels of household debt. And that means it's been historically difficult for the country to boost economic growth through consumption. Earlier this month, Taiwan announced plans to give most residents a $200 cash handout funded by excess tax revenue. But analysts say, despite the extra money, Taiwanese people could still feel the economic strain this year.
There's a lot of different type of pressure that Taiwanese household may be facing. The higher burden on mortgage is one, and of course, if we think of it from a different age group, then you may also have some youth voters complaining home price may be basically too high.
There's only a year until Taiwan's next presidential election, but with the economic fuel that kept Taiwan afloat through the pandemic largely depleted, the government will need to be cautious to ensure the country's economy doesn't continue to shrink. Carl Mashu and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
Vice President Lai Ching-te has officially taken office as chair of Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP. Lai takes over from President Tsai Ing-wen, who stepped down from the post after her party suffered heavy losses in last year's local elections. Lai is widely seen as a front-runner for the party's candidacy in a 2024 presidential election. He has in the past been known for his more outspoken views on Taiwanese sovereignty. But on Wednesday, Lai said he did not believe there was any need for Taiwan to declare independence from China, as it is already an independent country. And as DPP chair, he pledged to work together with fellow democracies to meet a challenge from Beijing.
中国威权主义的扩张，不仅已经对台海和平稳定造成威胁，更是全世界都必须严肃面对的课题。民进党主张，台湾不仅要积极与理念相近的盟友合作，共同努力维持区域和平稳定，更要清楚认知，绥靖主义无法换取和平。
Taiwanese lawmakers are calling for the country to set up a special court to deal with national security issues. That's after images were posted on an internet forum appearing to show confidential government documents. Jaime Okan reports.
$150,000 US. That's how much it would cost to access 10 gigabytes of supposedly classified intelligence. This offer was made on an online forum via this account, going by the username Malan. The user posted these images of what they claim are confidential documents from Taiwan's military and intelligence agencies. Though Taiwan's investigation bureau said it was looking into the origin of the post, this potential security breach has clearly rattled the authorities. In response, lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, proposed stricter measures to deter classified information from being leaked.
应该建制专业的国安法庭跟国安的检察体系，根据证据，要予以快速并且重判。
But this alleged data breach isn't the only security headache the government is dealing with this week. On Tuesday, the nation's Health Insurance Bureau said that its former chief secretary had been stealing personal information of Taiwan's intelligence officials for more than 13 years. Taiwan's National Development Council, which oversees policy planning for the country, says that data breaches like these can be avoided with greater oversight.
第13号判决有要求我们在3年内要建立这个专责独立机制哦。那跟委员报告，我们现在其实我们已经进行了相关的研拟哦，我们会报行政院以后进行研议。那如果有具体的结果，我们会跟国人报告。
According to the Japan government-affiliated Defense Research Institute, Taiwan faced over 1.4 billion cyber attacks between 2019 and 2020. Taiwan's government says that the country deals with over 5 million cyber attacks a day. Trying to stop data breaches in the face of such a sustained campaign is an around-the-clock job, one that requires constantly evolving and updating strategies. And as the authorities are all too aware, the threat is never far away. Easton Pan and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
For more on the issue of leaks from government databases, our reporter Stash Butler spoke to Jiang Yaqi, the president of the Taiwan Law and Technology Association.
The impression lots of people might get seeing all of these sort of cases of leaks from government databases is that anyone working at these departments can, walk in at will and access this data and potentially walk away with some quite sensitive information about people from around the country. Why does this keep on happening?
Well, I think there are many reasons attributed to this happening repeatedly. Like, first of all, Taiwan is facing severe national security threats across the strait, and Taiwan is facing a lot of millions of cyber attacks per year. Like in 2021, the data shows that Taiwan faced up to 5 million cyber attacks in a year. And there's another 10% increase in 2022. Another reason is the personal data protection concept in Taiwan is relatively new. And Taiwan only introduced a new personal data bill a decade ago. So I think it still takes time to educate the public to protect their own personal data.
And just how easy is it for someone in this position of power to take this data and use it in a way that isn't legal or is improper?
Well, I think there's a weakness in the Taiwan the whole ID system, because Taiwan uses this unified ID system. For example, your health ID card, the number of the health ID card is the same as your personal ID card. So once I have some individual's personal ID, I can actually link to other personal information in other systems. So that's one of the weak spots in the whole system. We don't have an independent personal data protection authority at the moment. So there's no coordinated approach to protect personal data.
What controls are in place? I mean, we've talked a little bit about some of the problems that Taiwan's facing, but what actually measures are there in place already to stop these kinds of data leaks?
Well, as I mentioned, we do have laws and regulations, but we need people, we need office to put those regulations in practice. And because those laws and regulations are relatively new, so it takes time to complete the whole legal mechanisms. But from the recent data leaks cases, I think it's really very imperative for us to overhaul the system as soon as possible.
If that's what's need to be done, then why hasn't it happened yet?
Well, that's a very good question. I think people were talking about that, and the government also established a new ministry to tackle the issue. But the new ministry only was established like last August. So I think they have a lot of issues to tackle with. So I'm sure they will be getting into this issue very quickly. And I think the recent data leaks cases are also a warning sign to them and also to Taiwan, to all the people in Taiwan. So I think with the pressure from the society, they will be tackling the issue quicker than expected, I hope.
That was legal expert Xiang Yaqi speaking to TaiwanPlus reporter Stosh Butler. The videographer was Damon Lin. Taiwan's number 2 nuclear power plant is set to shut down its second and final unit in March as the government moves to phase out nuclear power. Officials say there won't be any electricity shortages because of the shutdown, but some industry observers fear there's a shortfall looming. Louise Watt reports.
Time is ticking on Taiwan's number 2 nuclear plant, which has been producing power for 40 years from its spot near the coast in northeastern Taiwan. It's scheduled to be shut down on March the 14th, and there are worries this will squeeze Taiwan's power supply, particularly as one of the gas-generating units at a major plant went offline at the end of 2022. But Taiwan's government is trying to allay fears.
这个部分我们都会做好相关的调度跟安排，没有问题。
The government plans to phase out nuclear power by 2025 as part of a plan to shift to renewable energy and increase the proportion of natural gas in Taiwan's energy supply. A new gas-generating unit is scheduled to go online in late March or early April at Datun Power Plant, the major gas-fired plant in northeastern Taiwan. But observers say that will still leave a half-month window after the nuclear reactor is shut off. They worry the state-owned Taiwan power company, Taipower for short, will struggle to dispatch power from other sources after the number 2 plant, also known as Kaohsiung, goes offline.
No new unit will be online before that time. So that's why I'm very worried about there could be another electricity outage in Taiwan at that time, because Taiwan Power Company is simply not ready for the decommissioning of the Kaohsiung unit.
Taiwan has suffered several large blackouts in recent years, and there have been calls from business leaders for the government to extend the life of its remaining 2 nuclear plants. Taipower says the shutdown of the number 2 nuclear plant and the delay in putting the gas units online was known in advance. It's adjusted the maintenance schedules of other plants to keep power flowing.
我们已经配合调整了相关的大修、紧修的这一些排程的这些进度。今年第一季1到3月要税修的一部分的机组拉到去年底去税修。
Taipower says a unit at a power plant in Miaoli is scheduled to go online soon and vows there won't be an electricity shortfall this year, even as Taiwan shuts down its second-to-last nuclear power plant, with the final one set to close in 2025. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, what you need to know about rabbits before the Year of the Rabbit.
This year, TaiwanPlus News presents a series of holiday specials to help you ring in the Year of the Rabbit.
Have a fantastic Year of the Rabbit.
Happy Year of the Rabbit.
From all of us at TaiwanPlus News, Happy New Year!
TaiwanPlus, Happy New Year!
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. In the top international news, Ukraine's interior minister has died in a helicopter crash. The crash happened near a kindergarten outside of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. The minister's deputy was also among those killed. The incident has claimed at least 18 lives, 3 of them children. At least 29 people are wounded. The crash appears to have been an accident. Philippine Nobel laureate Maria Ressa and her news website Rappler have been acquitted of tax evasion charges. The veteran journalist was handed a court victory on Wednesday in a case she has described as a part of a pattern of harassment. Ressa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2021 for her work championing freedom of expression. Her news site earned a reputation for its in-depth reporting and its tough scrutiny of former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, who waged a deadly war on drugs.
This acquittal, kahit na medyo matagal po, is not just for Rappler. It is for every Filipino who has ever been unjustly accused. Today, facts win. Truth wins. Justice wins.
An oil tanker explosion in Thailand has killed one and left at least 9 injured. The ship was docked for maintenance at a port southwest of the capital, Bangkok. There were around 20,000 liters of fuel on board at the time of the explosion. Most of the victims are welders from Myanmar who had been doing repairs on a ship. A new report from the U.S. government's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has found that 2022 was the world's 6th hottest year on record. Sally Jensen spoke to Taiwan's leading climate scientist Xu Huangxiong at Academia Sinica to find out more.
So the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the US earlier released a report saying that last year, 2022, was Earth's 6th hottest year on record. How do you think this is being reflected, if at all, in Taiwan?
Okay, because the temperature is rising, right? So it's the same in Taiwan. For example, we have this warmest November last year, yeah. But we now have a higher chance to have this occur, probably for different months, but it occur more often. The effect of global warming will make the past event, the event those occur in the past, will become much more severe, even in terms of rainfall intensity or in terms of the drought. Yeah, so we could see much more. The chance could be higher in the futures. The extreme rainfall in October could be the reflection of this tendency.
And how are these changes affecting things like agriculture and crops in Taiwan?
So in addition to rainfall, so the temperature has a big impact on agriculture. For example, some vegetables like lychee, it need to stay in a temperature below 17 degrees C during the winter. So if the winter gets too warm, then the production of lychee or ear lychee will be much reduced in the following summer.
And how urgent do you perceive the changing climate to be?
As a climatologist, we are now seeing essentially every month or every year that very unusual climate phenomena we have not observed before. In the future, it's going to occur more frequently with higher intensities and more impact.
So are you worried?
Sure, I worry, and I'm not seeing any quick action that can stop this tendency. So it will take some time, probably several decades. So that's probably the best result we can get. But we cannot stop warming. It's already occurring.
2 Taiwanese landmarks have made it onto Google Maps' list of the world's most searched cultural sites of 2022. Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall and Songshan Cultural and Creative Park, both in Taipei, placed 6th and 7th respectively. These sites both beat out well-known tourist attractions, including the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. The most searched landmark last year was England's Buckingham Palace. Taiwan is gripped by bunny fever. With the year of the rabbit just around the corner, many people are looking to raise a rabbit of their own. But one local rescue organization is bracing for the inevitable wave of abandoned bunnies. John Van Trieste paid the group a visit in a run-up to the Lunar New Year. Let's have a look at the lovely bunnies.
Meet Baby. Baby is one of more than 100 rabbits under the care of the Taiwan Stray Bunny Protection Association. Like all the rabbits, Baby was abandoned by her previous owner, but a sharp-eyed citizen found her and gave the association a call. They sent a team of volunteers to get her and bring her back here to their shelter just outside Taipei. Here, rabbits like Baby are nursed back to health and given a place to stay until someone special comes along to adopt them. Volunteers have been running the association ever since it was founded in 2009. One of them is Chen. She says there are many reasons why people abandon their bunnies.
有一些是情侣，他们在一起的时候呢，他们可能想要有一个爱的结晶，所以他就去养了一只兔子。那分手之后，就没有人要了，或者是说有一些是原本有养，但是事主可能因为工作的关系、搬家的关系，或者是甚至是结婚了有小孩，长辈觉得小孩可能兔子可能脏脏的，所以小孩会因为这样子而有过敏的疑虑的话，那可能就会会把他们丢掉这样。
Rabbits are cute, but they don't take care of themselves. They need food, fresh water, a clean litter box, and even laundry for the sheets they sleep on. There are also trips to the vet for sick bunnies, and the costs can rack up. Chen says they're seeing abandonments even before the Year of the Rabbit begins on January 22nd.
像近期这几个月的话，我们平均1个礼拜就会有1到2只的兔子进来协会收容这样子。
Some owners think it's harmless to release their pets into the wild, but for domestic rabbits, it's a death sentence. They lack the survival skills of their feral cousins. The lucky rabbits who are rescued show up at the shelter in a bad state. The association has set a high bar for adoption to make sure these bunnies never suffer again. But in Taiwan, it's easy to just buy one. And once every 12 years, when the Year of the Rabbit comes around, that's exactly what many people do.
很多人都会想说，哇，兔年我应景，我要养一只兔子来应景，有没有觉得兔年养了可能会招财或什么之类的？因为协会的认养是有一定的流程跟时间的，我们会去筛选。那有一些人呢，他可能就直接去宠物店买，那宠物店就是最快嘛，一只199、299啊，买了回来养一养。兔年一开始大家都不会丢，会丢都是那个兔年过。
The association is already bracing for a wave of abandoned bunnies next year. But there is some reason for hope. Every month, the association holds an open house where people can come and meet the bunnies and maybe find one that clicks with them. For every bunny that comes in, one always goes out to a happy new home. So what do would-be owners need to know about rabbits before the big year begins?
兔子是吃草，它不是吃红萝卜，也不是吃高丽菜，也不是吃地瓜叶，它的主食是草。然后，所以他们的食物的话，它必须草是24小时buffet让它吃的。那它住的话呢，像我们协会，我们会希望说给它一个大的空间，像是这种空间，让它可以就是跑跳之外，因为兔子它的脚底板是全是毛的，它不像猫狗有肉垫。所以呢，它的脚底板其实是非常的脆弱，所以我们会希望说，在它活动的区域里面都可以铺上止滑垫。水对兔子非常重要，但是必须是干净的饮用水，就是说你人类喝什么样子的水，兔子就喝什么样子的水。那饲料不能吃太多，因为饲料吃太多它会胖。那饲料其实就是补充草不足的一些维生素跟一些营养而已。
The association hopes the Year of the Rabbit will be a lucky year for all, but especially for the rescued rabbits in its care. Maybe, just maybe, this will be the year they find their forever home. Klein Wang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The Lantern Festival marks the end of Lunar New Year celebrations. Each year, Taiwan's Tourism Bureau organizes a massive festival to celebrate the occasion. And Joe Ryan takes a look at what's planned for this year's event.
Elaborate lanterns, gorgeous light sculptures, and a full moon, all hallmarks of the Lantern Festival. It takes place every year on the 15th day of the Lunar New Year, this year on February 5th. And for the first time in 23 years, the Taiwan Lantern Festival is being held in Taipei. You'll find over 300 installations spread out across all 12 of the city's administrative districts. The main display will go up at the Sun Yat-sen Memorial, And one of the highlights, a 22-meter-tall astronaut robot rabbit designed by artist Akiba Lee. Clearly, that's in honor of the Year of the Rabbit. Now, if this bunny looks familiar, that's because it bears the facial expressions of Taiwanese gold medal Olympic weightlifter Guo Xingchun. She acted the part, and with the magic of motion capture and an LED screen, voila!
好在我是一个非常爱演的一个选手啦，他就告诉我，大概在什么时候要做什么，然后表情大概那种情绪要怎么样，所以老师非常会引导，所以那一天就是真的非常顺利的把那一些表情都一次性的把它录完。
On February 1st, you can get a sneak preview of the festival, which runs from February 5th through the 19th. And a bonus for visitors, they're giving away free handheld LED lanterns. This year's design is based on the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. It has detachable bunny ears you can wear on your head, like Taipei Mayor Jiang Wa-an did at the press conference. And if you'd like to learn more about how the traditional lanterns are made, reporter Yu Jinghuang spoke to Xiao Zaigan, a 97-year-old lantern master. Look for that report in the run-up to the festival. Ricky, Leslie Liao, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we'll leave you with images of Mexicans blessing their pets on St. Anthony Day to protect them from misfortune and danger. I'm Chen. Take care and see you next time.